to another episode of the Pillar Podcast. I am your host, Ian Brandon. This is the student edition, and today I am at Southern High School visiting the BSU, that is the Black Student Union.
Yes.
I will let these lovely future leaders of America introduce themselves.
My name is Josiah. I'm in 11th grade.
My name is Dwight Thompson, and I go to Southern High School, and I'm a junior.
My name is Jalecia Prince, and I'm a junior.
I'm Cody Nakata. I'm a junior.
I'm Micah Check, and I'm a junior.
I'm a senior.
I'm Nick, and I'm a senior. I'm July Tristan, I'm a senior.
I'm Angela, and I'm a freshman.
So we got freshmen to seniors, a lot of upperclassmen, which is good. So I'm very interested to learn about what you guys have done or you're planning to do around Black History Month, your culminating project, or just anything you guys have been working on throughout the year.
Well, we already kind of did this, during the week of, I would say, before Christmas break, we set up Pictures with Santa because we were trying to fundraise and make money so that we could have a project for Black History Month. So basically during that, we got Santa outfits and we kind of made little goodie bags for the students at school, and we would sell them in the cafeteria and make them pay to like take a picture and get something. And I feel like that helped build a lot of school spirit that we usually don't have here, and I feel like it kind of got everybody acquainted with each other.
Yeah.
You know, everybody start kind of saying, "Oh yeah, I remember when you was Santa that day," or so I feel like that's something we did in the past that we
That's cool.
did as a group for BSU. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Another thing we didn't get to do it this year because, but we had a step show.
Okay, step show.
Basically, in the step show, we would invite a whole bunch of different step groups or dance teams from UFL or UK, and they would form and basically show more about the Black culture and more about what's in it, to explain to the students how this can be and why we do it.
Okay, so you're talking about the National Pan-Hellenic Council, which is NPHC for short, which is a combination of Black Greek letter organizations, right? Like you probably saw some people in purple and gold, crimson and cream.
Yeah.
Green and pink, yep, AKAs, Omega Psi Phi, Kappa Alpha Psi, Delta Sigma Theta, yeah. Talk a little bit about that. Like, what did you learn from that experience? You know, what was the most memorable thing about that?
Well, what I'm about to say was the most memorable, but I learned that you're not really supposed to, when they're saying that you're not supposed to say it back to them. It's kind of like the barrier.
Yeah,
And you don't say they're I guess.
Like phrases?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to say that.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. You just.
It's members only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my most memorable was getting to know more about their stories.
Yeah.
How they came to within this group and what it meant to them. They were inviting us to come and watch their shows or something. They would come back because they were in the community that we built here. And it was just nice that we got people to come and see more about us.
One thing about that step show that I really learned, it's not something they said or showed, but it's the type of family they built within each other at college, in colleges and stuff like that, to where you could a lot of people go to college, they're scared they're gonna be all alone, all that, and then they went there and they built a family, a group of brothers that they could be with. You feel me? So something like that.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say too, it was cool to see teachers that actually go to this school that were part of these groups that you would never think to like ask them, but since they came and performed, it was like they came out and showed their colors that they wore and, you know, represented it. It's almost like, well, it's just like a family, like just like they're not afraid or ashamed to, like, you know, publicly let it be known that that's what they are. So I thought that was cool. Yeah,
I think too, you know, a lot of your school teachers and administrators, they weren't always, you know, Dr. Walker wasn't always the Dr. Walker you see here, right? Like, we were once in these seats too, right? That's awesome. I joined one of those organizations when I went to Western Kentucky, Kappa Alpha Psi, so I could understand, right? I want to go back to the fundraiser. Talk a little bit about what it meant to you to create this idea that has a purpose behind it, plan it, and then see it come to fruition, right? Like you had some, what we call sweat equity, and you had to do some work, right? What did you get out of that experience, and how do you think it's helped you grow as an individual?
Well, first I'd say it's not easy. Like, it's not like putting up a lemonade stand and just selling lemonade and making money. It takes a lot of planning, and it takes a lot of like betting on yourself and your peers, because you can't really fundraise without, you know, putting in something yourself to get money fundraised to you. So it kind of like taught me a little bit more about how like these like businesses and like these big corporations, how they all started somewhere, and it's never just you say I want to do something and then it just all comes to you. Kind of have to jump start it up yourself. So I feel like I learned that.
I want to add to that a little bit, especially when planning like big events like how we did with the pictures with Santa. It really shows how much you have to delegate and how much you have to have like responsibility on your own, because everyone was in charge of getting something, props or candy. If you didn't have one thing, it would like mess it up, or someone would have to pick up your weight, and no one really wants to do that. It also helps you with going out into the real world, because not everyone's going to want to pick up your slack. And at the end of the day, if you don't put in the work, it is you who's missing out. It's you who's losing out on the opportunity to learn more or become better.
Yeah, it's accountability, right? May not seem like it in the moment, but like I can tell as you guys are reflecting on it, like you're seeing not only what the activity produced, right? The funds, it generated the funds, but it also gave you some lesson, right? Speaking of lessons, what has being a part of the Black Student Union, how has that benefited you as a student?
I would say this benefited me by kind of helping me get a voice, because when I first came my freshman year, I was like the most quietest girl ever. I didn't say anything for real. And then the more I went on with school and I started to get into BSU, it was like, okay, and now I have somewhere I can talk to people, you know, and relate to others. And then this year, especially me being the president, it gave me like a role of leadership, which I want to learn, because most of the time I'm like quiet and standoffish when it comes to like big groups. So it's helping me ultimately just like learn how to speak up for myself more.
Yeah.
Being a part of BSU gives me like a certain pride of being like African American, because I got people surrounding me that also feel, you know, that we actually, I want to say, I mean, we matter, but like, it's like we all stand for one thing, and it's beautiful to see that there's other people around me that got the same ideals.
Yeah, it's common ground, right? You can kind of walk into a space, join a space, and immediately feel that sense of connection, right? You know, we don't have to say much, but
You feel it.
I I see you, and I know you see me, right? I think that's one of the things we would say that's an invaluable characteristic of a group like BSU, right? You spoke a lot about leadership. How do you think you would have gained opportunities to practice being a leader if it weren't for BSU?
That's a good question. I feel like within school, I wouldn't know much. I'm like, as an athlete, I would learn how to be a leader from me just being like a cheerleader vet. But in a high school, it's kind of different. I don't know. I just feel like in a classroom or walking around school and stuff like that, I feel like I can't really be a leader to other people who, first off, don't look like me. So like, I can't really tell them or like help them and be a leader for people that don't look like me or don't understand certain things.
Mm-hmm.
That's a hard question. Right?
That's interesting, right? So I want to unpack that a little bit, right? So what I'm hearing you say is that you feel as though it would be difficult for you to lead someone that didn't look like you, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that, and you're not the only person to convey or feel that, right? The fact that that's something that's even fathomable is y'all, can I say crazy work right there? That's crazy work, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Right? Like, race doesn't define who we are as individuals, right? So that it's very disheartening to hear you say that, because we just came off of a term from the first, not only female president, vice president, right, but African American. And to know someone has reached that height of achievement, and some of us could still feel like we're not worthy to be in certain positions or be in certain rooms, it's wild, right? I think that has more to do with the society in which we live in, less someone's ability or capability. Yeah?
To me, I think that's why BSU is so important. It's important because we as black people, you as black students, have to know that you matter. When they say Black Lives Matter, we matter. And we matter in a way here in the United States that they will let you know, because it's always, we're trying to be put down because we matter. So when you have a group like this, a Black Student Union, that's why we want you to get together, to talk to each other, to learn about each other, so then you can come as a group, as a family, as you always say. We come as a group, as a family, and let them know that we matter.
Yeah.
Let them know about our issues, because we do. We do matter.
I feel like another reason why I probably couldn't be a leader out to like school is because some of the comments that other people say, like I've heard a girl in class be like, oh, we're all like the same people, or I've heard them say like, oh, we all matter. If somebody's saying Black Lives Matter, they'd be like, oh, we all matter, or oh, we're the same people, but we're not, and y'all didn't go through half of the stuff that we did. So it kind of like takes it away from stuff that happened to us. And they're like, oh, we're all the same, but I can't really be like, I feel like me, I wouldn't get up and be like, but we aren't the same. Like I wouldn't speak on it, so I just like kind of sit to the side, and no teachers say nothing about it, no nothing. They just let them say what they want to say.
Yeah.
So it's not like.
I'll add on to that too. I feel like a problem that I feel like we have and other people of like different races that want to support us is that we're scared to say something, but in reality we were all given the right to say what's on our minds. So I feel like we need to start saying more and just letting these words be out there for them to think on instead of just bottling up and keeping it to yourself, and then they just they never get to really know how somebody's feeling, And I feel like the more we talk about things and just let it be out there, the easier it gets for us to like tackle the issues and our comfortability with the issues, because sometimes it's just it's just sadly it's an awkward feeling sometimes to confront somebody on something they said, because there's so many things that you might be thinking could happen. You might get embarrassed, or they might lash out. It's just I feel like we got to be more open books and just open about it.
I think too, one thing, and you're spot on. It takes a courageous person to call someone out, right? It takes a courageous person to advocate for themselves, let alone a body of people. And that's essentially what a leader is, right? One thing I have learned, and it's kind of become one of my mantras, is to embrace awkwardness, because that's where growth is, right? The more challenges you face, the more you lean into those awkward or uncomfortable moments, like each time it gets a little easier. And that's part of the problem, is a lot of people that don't look like us, they're not challenged in their education about our culture, our histories, right? So again, that's why comments like those can just fly. It's okay, as you all are developing stronger leadership characteristics, I would encourage you to let your voice ring, right? I say never rob someone of the opportunity to experience you. And essentially what I mean by that is you being yourself, right? If when you walk into a space, whether it be this school community, your next, you guys are getting out of here, so college campuses, right? When you're walking into that next space, you're showing up authentically 100% yourself. You're not masking, right? I think we as a society need to see more of that, right? I want to talk a little bit about sense of belonging. Research has constantly shown that students who have a higher sense of belonging have higher student outcomes, i.e. they achieve more. They are deemed more successful, if you will, right? So my question is, how would you rate your sense of belonging at Southern High School?
I'd probably say like a 7.5.
7.5?
Yeah.
Why would you say 7.5?
I would say 7.5 because, like, I would say probably from, like, when I first started going here my freshman year, I had trouble fitting in, like, everybody was different. Like, I was more like a lonely type person. I always think myself in my corner, but, like, as I got older and, like, continued going here, like, I just found my own space and, like, my own little groove. So I just,
Okay.
I mean, I'd say I'm at like a 8.5 now, because I feel like, you can ask my peers. I feel like I'm able to really just talk to anybody here. I don't have no problem with, just communicating and saying hi or hello, because I feel like, the way I look at it is that, like, not a lot of people go to high school. You're not really going to probably end up leaving high school knowing all these people, but it never hurts to say hello to that person, that one person every day, and then find out that when you go apply for a job or something, they end up being the person who's hiring you, and it's like you can have that instant click where, it's like, oh yeah, how you been since? It's good to have peers. It's good to, like, talk to people. So I'm not saying that it's easy or everybody's like should just be doing it. I understand it is, sometimes hard to get out there and talk to people, but I feel like my sense of belonging, I feel like it's at like an 8.5. I kind of interact with everybody here. I play sports. I'm familiar with my teachers. They're familiar with me, so I just, feel like I have a strong sense.
Me personally, I have to like say like an 8, and the reason is like when I came here, like at first, like the first couple weeks of school, when I first came here my freshman year, it's kind of quiet. I didn't talk to a lot of people, but once I started getting in groups like, I started playing sports and stuff, basketball started up, all that other stuff, I started finding my group of people and I started to talk more, and I feel like those groups and stuff like that, they changed me in a way to where like now I could talk to anybody, I could approach anybody, stuff like that. BSU played a big role in that too, stuff like that. So yeah.
I was gonna add on. I was gonna say something. I do feel like though that sometimes, like, our administrators could get more involved with the kids that do the right things instead of the kids that are always in trouble. I know that's a big thing in public school, where you'll see these kids who almost get special treatment. It's like they're always in trouble, so these administrators know them, and then when they do good, it's such a good deed. But then the kids who are always coming to school, always doing their work, always behaving, following the rules, it's like they don't even know your name and they don't say hi, hello. You don't get any acknowledgement. So I feel like that's a part of sense of belonging. It's almost like I don't know what the word is for it, but it's like I feel like black kids get lots of sense of belonging, but in the wrong aspect. It's always for being in trouble all the time. We're always going to ISAP, stuff like that.
I was going to add on to that, and I hear what you guys are saying, but when I feel the sense of belonging here at Southern, I have to look at ratios, and so we don't have that many black teachers here. In relationship to how many blacks we have here, how many minorities that we have here. And so your sense of belonging is, you have to think about it. Black History Month, if we had not said anything about Black History Month, then nothing would have been said about Black History Month. And it would have just gone on.
Correct. I love the fact that you mentioned administrators getting more involved, because that's something, just like in any organization, right? JCPS is an organization, Southern High School is an organization, things flow top down, right? It's hard to enhance a sense of belonging or change an experience if you're not in touch with the group or the situation you're trying to change, right? And your administrators aren't with you like that on a daily. So it's important for us administrators to come from behind the desk sometimes, right? Get in the trenches. And for those of you that don't know, I'm sorry. The new voice you have been hearing is Dr. Walker. the BSU sponsor, so thank you for joining us as well. But that's something you don't get to experience, right? So you guys are developing leadership characteristics, you're growing as individuals, you're experiencing various things being a part of BSU. And of course, Dr. Walker sees that, but outside of Dr. Walker, who is seeing that? Who's investing in that? Who's ensuring that there's systems in place for it to continue, for it to grow, right? I think that's a lot of what Dr. Walker's getting at with enhancing the sense of belonging, right? We don't have to get to the specifics of it, but we'll just say Senate Bill 165. Just leave it there. How would you feel if you came into school on Monday and Dr. Walker says, unfortunately, guys, we can no longer meet as BSU?
Okay. I'll probably say like, cause I've been here. I'll probably say since my sophomore year, and I'm a senior now, so it's like I'll kind of be like a little sad because I've been here throughout the whole process. Even though I kind of hardly talk sometimes, but it's like I kind of like grew with everybody a little bit throughout those times.
Yeah.
And I kind of get to know them a little bit.
Yeah.
I'd have to ask why, and just
There we go.
want to know why. Why aren't we meeting? What's going on? Is it over, or is it just we're not meeting for this week? That's what I'd probably first thing I'd say.
I would be upset, but I kind of like, if she would have told me why it happened and said that like they didn't want it, I would kind of expect it, because I feel like the way the system's kind of set up is they don't want us to really like come together as a union and talk about real Black history or what actually happened. They don't want to teach it in class, or they don't want to teach it in school. So when we do groups like this, they kind of want to take it away from us to just, so they don't really want us to have that voice.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, like what she said, it's really like taking a voice away for real. And also it's like losing a family or something like that. Like we can't meet no more and talk about the stuff that we all agree on no more. And it's kind of like trying to find an example, but I can't think of one. But it's like take it something away from somebody.
Yeah.
Like taking a group away from somebody.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I was gonna add on. And I feel like it would just be like repeating history, because it's like it's like they never want us to, they never want us to get together, because they know that. I feel like all the stuff. Realistically, I don't know enough about it, but I do feel and I believe that Black people have done a lot to get other Black people the rights they like deserve. Oh, yeah. But there's so many like loopholes and things you have to know for yourself and work around to get to them, that the white man doesn't want us to get together and figure it out collectively. So that's why they don't like when we have these groups where we can talk about things and figure out what's really going on with our history and our rights. That same way they used to do it when they were slaves, and they didn't want them to. They couldn't even go to church anymore because they didn't want them to talk to each other. So it's like they're gonna always try to stop us from communicating and knowing what's going on.
It's diversity, right? Again, we're talking about data. It's shown that when you have diverse populations, they thrive, right? You guys are not all from the same background, right? It's visually clear. It's clear in your speech, right? Your accents, your dialect, we're not all from the same place, right? But we have common ground. And there's something about having diversity, like it's an empowering atmosphere, right? When you have people like yourselves who are coming to be a part of something, right? Like you guys joined to be a part of something. You know, this is voluntary, right? Like you don't have to be here. You could be doing anything else, but you're here for a reason, right? And it's empowering. I know hopefully when you guys get out of here, you can reflect on your time here and say, man, like that really impacted me. If there was one thing about your school community, right, Southern High School, that you could wave a magic wand and have it changed to enhance your student experience, what would that be?
I feel like they worry about like phones and dress code more than us individuals. So I feel like if they wasn't so much like, you know, worried about that, then I feel like our school would be like kind of. I mean, it is a good school, but I feel like it would be more uplifting if they weren't so much worried about that.
I don't kind of have to put it in two parts, but I would like, if I had a magic wand, I would honestly want to like almost like delete the history, just everything. I would want to like almost make this like a grand opening of a new school, because I feel like we don't have any school spirit, and there's reasons why to that, because just of the background and how this school's played out most years, you know, where we don't really have the best athletics or the best academics, and I feel like that hinders the school and the students, and it makes the kids here, most kids don't enjoy going to school, and then when you're going to a school that doesn't try to even encourage you to enjoy school, it's like they're not getting any type of there's no encouragement. There's no incentive to go. It's like, why am I going here? I'm not, you feel me? So I would get rid of the reputation and then just boost the school spirit. I feel like that's really all we just need, school spirit, and the kids just gotta start, I don't know, liking each other, and just I don't know how to explain it, but it's just like, I feel like, 'cause when I have friends that go to other schools, and I hear it all the time, you know, their school spirit's just better. They're engaged with their, their school life.
It's the culture.
The culture is there. It's just better.
That's a big problem.
Yeah, we ain't got no culture, so that's what I would change.
I feel like our school needs more spirit.
Okay.
Because like, if you see our pep rally, sometimes kind of down.
Yeah.
And not like uplifting. Like when we have like.
Do you feel like it's more they want to contain you because they don't want you to get excited because of what they think will happen?
Yeah, that's how I feel like sometimes. I feel like if they weren't like trying to contain us, then pep rally would be more fun. Or like teachers versus students when they play basketball and stuff like that would be more fun.
What I change is it really does feel, because Dr. Walker, she said something earlier about like when she first came here, it felt like they was just walking the cattle in the hallways and leading them to school. That's really how it really feels like. Like, I'll go through the school day and I'll just feel like I'm being contained the whole time. It feels like I have no freedom. I have no like voice. I don't feel like a part of the school. I just feel like a component of the school. You feel me?
And they think like you're trying to argue with them, but that's really not the case sometimes.
Yeah. One thing, and I'm glad it's come out, because we talked a little bit before we started the interview, but I told you part of my responsibility as a district administrator is student voice. So I would be remiss if I didn't leave here encouraging you guys to exercise your student voice, right? This podcast is a way, yes, The student publication, or excuse me, the Envision Equity Publication Student Edition is another way. It's just the written form of this, right? Your SSBIH, the Student Code of Conduct, right? You guys, I know you guys all got that book, right? There's committees that help formulate the rules in which are set for you all to follow in school. And so being aware of these things is opportunity for you to get your voice out. And then lastly, a more immediate, I would say, direct impact you can have with your voice is working with Dr. Walker on a plan of action to see some of these things happen, right? How many of your administrators do you think know you guys feel like that, right? So it's one thing to have a perception of something, right? This is what it is, and this is how we feel it should be. But it's another thing to say, hey, this is what we want to see changed. Here's how we would like things to change. When can we expect to see some of these things implemented? Right?
Yeah.
And you're giving your reasons why, right? You laid them out here, right? The school culture, the climate in which people are engaged and talking, dealing with each other, right? So if I can help you guys in any way with that, I would love to. But yeah, I want to help you guys exercise your voice. There's a final statement, comment you want to make. I'll start. I'm going to thank Dr. Walker for taking on the role of sponsor, because although this is a student-led organization, we have to have administrators and teachers on board to help you guys navigate the space. And I just know teacher workload, you guys may not, but it's a lot. The teachers go through a lot, and this is extra for them. So my final thought will be to Dr. Walker, thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
I don't really have none.
That's good.
None crazy to say. Okay. But I enjoyed you letting us be on this podcast.
Absolutely. And I'll come back. The next time I come back, we're going to talk about the steps you've taken to begin to exercise your student voice. Okay? Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Well,